everybody, it's Joy from the Women's AI Visibility Institute. And this week we are focusing on why a person, an attorney, should build their entity. Yesterday we talked about Wikidata, and we know that there's a gap that women aren't in the Wikidata database. It's 6.37% of women are in the database, and all of them are either judges, historians, government workers, no private practice women. So we know there's a gap. What do we need to do to build our entity? And today we're going to talk about two things: infrastructure and authorship. Infrastructure, and I talked about this last week from a firm's perspective on why infrastructure is important. But today I want to talk about why infrastructure is important for an attorney. I've said many times that an entity goes with you, but how do you build that entity? Well, wherever you work, whether you have your own firm or you're in a medium sized firm or you're in a large firm, building a strong infrastructure for you is the foundation piece for your entity, building your entity. So, what do I mean by that? I don't want to get into all the technical stuff because it's not going to help you get where you need to be. What you do need to know is the infrastructure on a website, wherever you're working at, has to include what you do. So, if you're a woman attorney, on the website in code, it has to have um, identifying data points, meaning what kind of business are you in? So many law firms have business, but they don't have the type of business that they operate, which means when AI goes to read it, they know it's a business, but they don't know what type of business it is. So, first is what type of business? Legal service. And then the areas that you practice. And then get into the personal data points that you would code into your website. So that lays the foundation. AI can say, oh, this XYZ firm is a legal service. Jane Smith is an attorney that practices in personal injury. She has her bar license. She graduated in this year from this college. All those data points can be coded into the website onto your bio page. That makes it so strong. Well, then the second aspect of the pillars, we go off of 4 pillars. The second aspect is authorship. And authorship is demonstrating to AI that you know your stuff and you can be and should be, not can be, should be writing articles and posting them on LinkedIn, doing videos on a series. All that is um, creating content that shows your expertise. So let's talk about videos. I'm doing a video every single day for 100 days. Why? Because I want to share what I know from the research that I've done. So, how do I do that? I do that on doing a YouTube video every day. I pick a theme for the week. I post the video with a description. That is showing Gemini, because YouTube is owned by Google, that I am a expert in my field because I share information, A, that on the research that I do, B, that I'm consistent, and C, I'm not like putting out slop. I'm putting out content that people can learn from. Same with LinkedIn articles. I write an article. I try to do it every week. It doesn't happen, but I do a series. So LinkedIn can see that I'm writing from my research every week or every couple of weeks on topics that we cover. What can you do? Absolutely do a YouTube video on your area of expertise. So let's say you're a divorce attorney. What series can you do on YouTube that would show your expertise? I can think of 10 things. So if you're contemplating a divorce, the first 5 things you need to know as a woman looking for an attorney. The biggest mistakes women make in getting a divorce, financial settlements when going through a divorce, retirement. I mean, just on and on and on, having a video series that would help you so much to be pulled from Gemini. And YouTubes are also showing up in ChatGPT. So think about authorship and the things that you can write. Now, we've talked about LinkedIn articles, YouTube, but what about writing for a newsletter for your local bar association? What about writing an article for your local newspaper? What about writing an article for women's magazines? There's so many options available. And yes, I understand it's work. Trust me, it's 7 o'clock in the morning and I'm shooting a video. So I completely understand. However, the payoff for women building that foundation is going to carry on, I don't know for how long, but for the very distant future, because AI is only getting smarter. And the more data points that you put out there, the more you're building your case of your entity. So think about the avenues that you have available to you to create content to show your expertise. It's it's um, it's something where doing this can set yourself apart because very few people are doing it. So, infrastructure, in summary, infrastructure and authorship are the foundation layer. Infrastructure proves what the site is, authorship proves who stands behind it. All right. Thanks so much for your time today. Tomorrow, we're going to do the other 2 pillars for building your entity, and then Friday we'll do a wrap up. So I hope you could take away some information from this and you can start creating a strategy on how you're going to get your expertise out there. All right. Take care.